Okay, so we're joined by J.R.J, the next producer on the EP, Alexandros. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So what was the creative process like for creating Brick by Brick?
Yeah, so that one, I made that with Alex ages ago, I think. And
Okay.
it was the usual kind of thing. So he came in, he had his like samples. Alex is like the most organized person ever. So he had, he had his hard drive with his like samples. He's like, oh, okay, I like this bit, like this bit. And then I think it was the kind of the brass kind of main melody that's like in the whole song. And then I kind of like chopped up a bit and then made it into what it is. And then I was like, oh, this sounds like a bit like some kind of like West Coast kind of vibe. Like I need to, whatever. And then, yeah, the drums, we added the drums and it was like kind of like Dr. Dre kind of vibes. And just like, I think it kind of like, it made itself. Like after like we added like 3 bits, we were like, okay, it's cool. And then I think, he started writing it in the session as well. Because normally he'll like write after the session. So he'll make the beat and then he'll go away and then find his time to make it. And then, no, but I think he started writing the chorus in the session because I think it was just like, the energy was just right and it was really cool. And then, yeah, so it was really fun making that one.
Do you feel like you, knowing that it had like more of a Mediterranean influence, which you usually don't hear in the UK, what is kind of, let's like explore the cultural aspect of working with Alexandros.
Yeah.
Like, in what ways do you think Alex's connection to his Greek heritage influences his work?
So I've worked out with Alex for years now. So it's kind of like, there's been different phases where it was like kind of finding out what kind of what sounds do I like. And then it was kind of like, we've got to the stage where he was starting to embrace his Greek like culture more and like actually do songs in Greek. And it was really cool because it was like, that's him embracing more of himself in the songs. When you hear this project, you'll hear that like, it just feels better. Like he's just putting himself on there. And like when we were making it, it's kind of like trying to add in parts that would be like, okay, that's a feeling of like, maybe we'll add this little bouzouki line or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's so cool. That's like to say, oh yeah, it's Greek. Like you got to have these little parts in there that like represent stuff that you would hear in that kind of space. So yeah, it's been really cool.
And like, what's attractive about his style as well?
What I really like is that he doesn't really like shy away from anything. So like we'll make different stuff, different ideas, but it's kind of like he's brave enough to try whatever he feels like, oh, it's going to work, and goes for it. And like his energy of like believing in what he's doing makes it feel even more convincing and more, you feel more centered in the song because you're like, even the way he does his takes and stuff and his performance of the like lyrics and stuff is like, yeah, I feel like you feel the energy of what he's saying as well as hearing what he's saying. And then there's parts that obviously are in Greek, so you may not even know what it's saying if you don't speak Greek, but you feel the energy of it, right? So yeah, I think that's one thing that sets Alex across apart from a lot of people is like the energy that you feel from what he's written.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So you also mix the entire project. What are your thoughts on it and where Alexandros is now on his journey?
It's really cool. I think the last project was coming out when I started mixing this one, and it was really cool. It was kind of like seeing people react to that one. But then I'm like, you lot aren't ready for like what's going to come next, because it's like it's stuff that's more, again, him embracing himself more and like putting himself more into the music, which is like always going to be something that's like going to connect more, and it's going to be a different energy, because I think the more true you can be yourself in art is like the more the art's going to be like something that kind of just takes your breath away a bit. It's like, oh, cool. Like, I didn't expect this energy. And the energy in like, especially a lot of the rap parts are just like, yo, you're like, you hear it, you're like, I wish I knew what he's saying, because it sounds like he's going in. And it's like, I think that's really one thing I do like about this project. Like this project is like rap, but it's also Greek. It's like rap, but like heavy. It's like, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, it's really a new side of Alex that maybe hasn't like gone so heavily in before. So it's really nice to hear that.
Cool. Thank you so much for joining us. You've been great. And everyone, make sure you listen to Alexandros, the new EP. But thank you so much, J.R.J, for coming in.
Cheers.